Record. Thank you for agreeing to doing an interview. And yeah, sorry, I got a bit of a time mix up there, so I appreciate you
That's all right.
being available. um, Michelle, yeah, I just had time to grab your I love this. I couldn't
Well,
get that on me. Who's this?
that's to me more because I was doing a whole 80s films, my favorite 80s films, and that's from St Elmo's Fire.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't know if, well, I've heard the name of that film, but I haven't. But I clipped off the bottom, which is it The Hustler? It says at the bottom.
No, it's she's sitting on top of a Wurlitzer.
A
Um,
Wurlitzer.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The Wurlitzer. And do you have really, yeah, brilliant that you're able to do it. And have you got art behind you as well? Is this your art or is this?
No, actually, this isn't. That one, the nudie one there, is my eldest daughter's actually, because she does art as well, and that was from her A-level art, so that's hers. But I've got mine all dotted around all over the place. I've got some framed. I was going to show you some of them as well.
Oh yeah, do. Yeah, let's dive in with that.
Okay, so I started off because I started doing like pet portraits really, and this one was my
Yeah.
pup who died a year ago actually. So I did a little cartoony one of her, and that kind of started people off asking me to do pet portraits. It was like that easy. That wasn't my plan.
Mhm.
I was just doing art for fun.
So is
Uh,
that what you've been doing for the last year, the pet portraits?
uh, well, no, because to condense it all down really small, I worked for the NHS. I was a reception manager for GP surgery up until August. So I worked all the way through the pandemic, very stressful.
Oh,
And I started doing the art to sort of calm me down a bit. And it got a bit too stressful. And I had some money saved up. So I decided to stop work, and I think a lot of like the pandemic has done it for a lot of people. It's kind of made you reevaluate what you want out of life,
mm.
and that art kind of made me think. I mean, I've always done arty things throughout my life.
It looks
Um,
like it because the art's brilliant. So it's a surprise to hear that you really focused on it from the pandemic onwards. It's definitely facilitated quite a lot of opportunities. Not that anybody would have wanted the pandemic to have happened, but quite a few people have, a lot of people have reevaluated what they've been doing and also appreciate what you're saying that what you were actually working on became too stressful. It sounds like it must have been a very challenging time
yeah,
for it's been a challenging time for everybody, let alone the NHS frontline. So thanks for
yeah.
everything that you felt able to do for the time that you did do it. And so, but you said, yeah, so art's always been something, clearly it's something that you've always done because the work is fantastic. And I remember you posted one of you did like a Tuesday feature. So there were quite a few things of your art. So what are you said you mentioned like a cartoon element. So
Yeah.
what is would you say you describe your style? What are your interests in how you represent your art and what you choose to do?
Oh, that's the thing. Yes, I don't really have a style. I kind of do whatever. I mean, I branched into, it's quite popular, but I was always trying to think of things that people would want to commission me for. So I mean, that's why watched your Friday feedback, and I couldn't see it because I was at work. I work until 6:30, and then I get home and I'm just and I was listening to it today. And my Etsy thing, it was more like I like doing my art, but I need to find a way that I'm not just committed to just doing commissions, because that's like, once in a blue moon, or, just before Christmas, I got quite a few people asking me for them, for gifts, but it's not something that you seem to be able to do every day and be able to make money from it.
Mhm.
So I was,
Yeah,
yeah.
what I love is that you say that, and yet in the year that you focused on your art, your output has been fantastic, and that you have got a lot of commissions. So
I have.
I think that is brilliant for someone that chose to focus on it about a year ago. Is that right?
Not even a year. August, I gave up work. So
That's absolutely amazing. I love your drive, clearly, because I thought there was a longer history of actually the productivity of your work. So yeah, I think
I
it's
think I was trying to get into everybody's faces though, because I started up the Mimic Art Facebook, and Mimic is my name. Everyone, my family and friends call me Mimi, and my initials are CS, so it's Mimics. So it sounds like I'm mimicking something, but I'm not. That's just like my name and initials.
okay.
But I started that up in the August. But I plan to sort of post something every day to get on people's nerves. I think just to like get in your face, so you know that I'm doing something every day, and I try and do
Very
that.
common. It's right. It's a way to be visible, and
Yeah.
everybody accepts that is social media, how social media works. So you say it irritates everyone, but especially with your art, it doesn't. I mean, I think really the thing is to focus on good content, and your art is certainly that. And also the other thing I picked up on is that you say you don't have a style, and yet there's a really strong style coming through from the work that I've already seen. So what are the elements that you draw from with the work that you have posted that I've seen? For this one, for example, did you say animation?
No, I mean, I kind of, I tend to, it's like everything. It's like when I was at school, my English teacher, who was my favorite because I like to write as well, because I did do a writing course. I was writing as well, but and it always is was in your head that you have to write from what you know, and I kind of think that the same for me would be from the art as well. So that's why you've got that Demi Moore behind you. And I did a whole load of 80s art because that's obviously my thing, is that I like the 80s because of my age as well. So I started doing things like I did like that one, a Kiefer Sutherland one. That's from the Lost Boys. And Blade Runner. And
it's a very
obviously Grease. So I started to do that sort of thing, but also to think more commercially, like that would be the sort of thing that people, if I put them in, I still haven't done the selling side of things yet, but that was my idea, was to try and get things that, yes, I could do personal commissions for people of their pets, or like this is my daughter and her boyfriend, but they're like faceless portraits. They're very popular at the moment. So I tried to sort of try and do things that I could sell independently of actually doing like people's pets or themselves or whatever. So that's the whole Etsy thing that I was trying to say about on when you did the feedback, is that I wanted to find something that I suppose is commercial, so that I could have some sort of trickle of money coming in whilst, still doing people's commissions.
But
so that was the idea.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine, because what I find interesting about what you've just said is that you really wanted to combine the commercial aspect when you started your art. And I think maybe it's because I've obviously worked in pop for a long time, and I do think so you wanted to have that commercialism in there because you did have a goal initially that you do want to sell it, and that's absolutely fine. But what I'm noticing is that there's still a very strong, because you've combined the 80s, as you said, there's still very strong elements that still come through. So you're not necessarily compromising an artistic style. I suppose what you're perhaps saying is that as you develop, you might go off on a tangent more and think less about commercial goal for your art, and that may change what you do. But I do think these things actually sometimes they speak for themselves, and I think it's great that what you've managed to do and succeed in such a short space of time is combine a commercial aspect with a very strong sense of style. And that's brilliant. You get a lot of artists that can be a consequence of them starting out. So I just think it's an interesting, I don't think it necessarily matters, I suppose, what I'm saying, but as far as certainly from the evidence of looking at your art, that there may have been a commercial goal in mind initially, because what I'm seeing is still a very strong sense of your own style. And so it's a happy consequence. It's not like you decided to do something that was commercial and it doesn't have a sense of identity. I get a really strong sense of identity from your work. And I love that it's that you just totally out there saying you wanted it to sell. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all want to communicate our work, and some people don't own the fact that they love it to sell. Everybody, we want it to be received, don't we?
I wish that, that we could, I didn't have to. I wish that, because, I had a couple of months off of not working and just doing art all the time. And then eventually I had to get a part-time job, because a lot of people in this group, I would imagine, knows that a lot of the time being creative doesn't earn a living, and you have to find another way to earn a living. And I wish I didn't have to have this part-time job, because it's not something that I want to do with my life. But I just needed to get money to pay bills, and the art doesn't pay the bills, sadly.
Well, absolutely, and that's. I remember you mentioned the part-time job, but again, Michelle, I want to congratulate you on the speed at which you are progressing, because to me that speaks of a real ambitious element, which is again brilliant, and you've got a time lapse around that. These things aren't necessarily instantaneous, and so what I want to support you with is not encourage you not to beat yourself up about things not happening really fast.
And I think that being creative as well, though, isn't it? You probably know as well, is that when you're creative, there's no sort of like you don't have any benchmarks to mark your success, do you really? If you think that you're selling, a couple of, I'm selling a couple of art commissions for people's pets, and I think, oh yeah, that's brilliant, and then there's nothing, and then you think, oh, I'm really rubbish then, aren't I? Because I'm not getting all of this work that I expect to get. And I think creative people beat themselves up more than anybody, I think, and I do. I'm terrible at it.
And I think that, yes, when you're putting yourself out there, and especially there's all sorts of things that we've covered actually in the Friday Live feedbacks. Thank you so much for all your comments, because it's been a real opportunity for my part to think about what you've said, and it's really contributed to the feedback that I felt able to.
Really helpful. I wanted to say that all of the things that you do, all of these, when I can get on them now, because my work hours are stupid, but when I do, I really appreciate it. I've written all the ones you've done for Friday. I've actually got up on my window that Society 6. I'm looking through that one. That sounds really interesting to me. So I find it, and I'm sure everybody in this group will agree with me, that says that, this is so helpful when you're just...
Oh, something's happened to the internet connection. Let me just, have you come back again?
I'm right, fine. You're still fine.
Yeah, it paused just for a minute and came back. Yeah, that Society 6. It was interesting. It was that came because you mentioned Etsy. So this is definitely part of the group ethos. Is the feedback comes from what people are saying, and it's really interesting to research that there are alternatives.
Yeah, well, that sort of thing is because like it is, you kind of sort of headed towards that Society 6 can put your images on anything, and I've already started doing it. These are my Duran ones, and
brilliant.
Yeah, because I'm obviously Duran, and these are like, there's a coaster for that one behind you.
Oh, fantastic! I
started making them into things using various. See, this is the thing about trying to be like kind of commercial, trying to sell. I mean, I have sold a set of the Duran coasters, and I have sold a Keith Sutherland coaster to a fan, but that's the sort of thing that I had to try and get my head around, like going back to, I love doing what I do, but you do have to try and make some money out of it, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, of course, I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be unapologetic. I'm sure most of the people on this site, well, actually not. There's a few people that are interested in doing it for hobbies, but I really wanted to welcome and invite people that want to create an income from their art, and it is a business, and we do need to think about ways of doing that. And so that was very much in the spirit of what this group is about. There's nothing to be apologetic about there. Because we all want to sell art. We all want to sell our art. We all want to expand our creative businesses, and that's brilliant. And so yeah, thanks for talking about it so
I
kind of
just wanted to bring that one as well, because that's my latest one that I had framed for myself, that I've done of Bowie. But and so, you know, that's, I mean, I love him, but that's again to sort of like try and do something that I love, but also to be able to sell
that's
it as
the thing,
well.
isn't it? You just nailed it on the head. That combination, because you say you use the terminology had to do it before for generating income, which we've established is we all want to be creating an income, and that is the spirit of this group as well. But combining it with something that you love, there's nothing wrong with combining commercializing, getting that combination, and that is actually that can be very, very helpful, and that can be conducive to getting those sales on, whether it's Society 6 or whether it's I think I mentioned this one Zazzle as well the other day, which
that's my next one. I'm going to have all these tabs open, researching all of those people.
Curious. There were quite a few, I remember that. And so you're firmly on the 80s for a while. Is that because your background, I suppose, is that you're going to be your theme for this year, 80s? Or, I mean, you did mention the pet as well. So it's all quite around, so it all seems to be around at the moment, what you love, and also what you think people will enjoy. And I think that's a brilliant, I mean, stance, really. Especially when you've only been in it a year. I keep coming back to that, but the way your output has been so much that I kind of assumed that you've been.
That's a pet. Can you see that one? Oh, I can't really see it, can you? But I mean, the pets were like, especially before Christmas, there's like, you know, there's a cat.
Yes. How do you do them, Michelle?
Well, see, this is the thing. I think that people might think that they're not quite up, but what I do is this is my iPad. It's a program called Procreate, and I basically get the image up and I work on top of the image, and I make that image. It's not exactly the same as the photograph, because what would be the point? So I kind of just, I don't know, do different backgrounds on and draw on top of it, and it's really that simple. It's not pens and paper. I'm not that good that side. I'm not that confident with my like pens and paper, but digital art I love doing. And I've done just photography as well. So I've been a photographer. I've had a photography studio. So you know, everything. Yeah, I've been a wedding photographer. I've done lots of stuff.
So it's bringing it all together then, if you've done the photography as well. And so you said, what's it called? Procreate, that one?
Procreate. It's an art program that you can use on iPad, and I invested in an Apple Pencil, which is what you draw with,
right?
And there's lots of lovely, brilliant, amazing. What people can do on Procreate blows my mind. You can see loads of tutorials of what people do. It's a really fun program as well, and I don't know the half of it.
Oh, great. Well, plenty more to learn. I don't know what the other ones are. I mean, it's interesting also talking about process, because, well, it's completely the artist's prerogative. Some people are happy to share about it when I've done interviews, and other people want to a bit kind of more cautious about what they want to share and what they don't want to share. But I certainly think, you know, you can have all the equipment in the world. If you give someone a pen and paper, they're not necessarily going to be Shakespeare. And so it's interesting for you to have said that you've done a lot of photography, and I can kind of see that in the work that you do and how it's because they do have a kind of photographic element to them. Did you say you start with photos?
Well, and somebody will send me, like the commissions work in the process that they will send me the picture that they want doing, and I just put it into the Procreate system, and I just go. I mean, it's not I don't have a real process. I just get a picture and go, that's it, I'm just going to start doing it now, and just sit there and do it. It's fantastic. You know, put my music on, or put a podcast on, or, you know, just sit and do, which is you know, my favorite thing. I just lose myself completely. I don't know what time it is. I don't know how long I've been doing it, apart from my hand starts to cramp up and I feel a bit chilly.
Well, that is fantastic. I mean, that is a really, that's for, you said that there's that commercial aspect that you're kind of feeling is perhaps less creative, but the fact that you lose sense of time, all of those are really good indicators that you're in your creative zone. And I'm curious about the photography side, actually. So so when did you do that? Did you study art then?
I did art. I mean, I only went as far as sixth form. I had to leave. I had a dad that wanted me to go and get a job if I was living in his house. So I did art and photography at school. And I started working in the media when I left. So I worked as secretarial and stuff, and I ended up being on a picture desk, working on a picture desk. So going on photo shoots and all of that sort of stuff. So that creative as well. And then I had my children. I got two daughters, 25 and 21, and I stopped work. So I didn't do any work whatsoever, and I just had kids. And then after that, I got little part-time jobs for them. So I've never gone back to the media. But so basically all of this is completely accidental. It's just a hobby. I wish I could just carry on doing it and never have to go to work again, but one day.
Yes, absolutely, that can be part of a strategy. And I just want to commend you again for the fact that this is a year old, this creative business. It's not very old. And so what would you see as your kind of visions for this year, if you were thinking, right, well, what would I like to, by the end of next year, what would be a realistic, but also something that's also feels like a stretch that you'd love to be in a position next year?
Well, I think I'd like to have somewhere where I mean, I've got a website that I've made myself, but I don't sell anything from it. It's just Mimics Art. So
all right, that's
everything's Mimics Art. But I made that just as a holding page. I haven't really gone into it yet. But I'd quite like to. I keep seeing things, I don't know how real they are, like on Facebook, like go to these art fairs, or maybe get some prints made up and go somewhere where there are other people, like, and actually real people, not online, and go and maybe set up a little crafty stall somewhere. And
that in Brighton, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's loads of it. So it's brilliant. Just getting that confidence. Yeah, it is very artistic. That's why I love living here. But it's just getting that confidence up to think that my stuff is good enough to be able to go out there and set myself up and sell myself. I've never been very good at selling myself.
And as you said, you've had, well, I know that, yes, you're taking part-time job at the moment, but you've had several commissions, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I did get quite a few just like I said, it was mostly Christmas presents. That worked. Christmas worked.
Michelle, that's absolutely brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I commend your ambition, even though you keep kind of berating yourself about what hasn't happened and how you haven't got time. What I get loud and clear is a real drive and also a strong identity in your art. I think your art is absolutely brilliant, and I love your productivity. I think there's absolutely, it's all there, and I'm really excited for you, even though I know that you've got your job at the moment. There's not enough time. I get different things from what you've said in the feedback, but I just want to say, and I know you've got an estate agent coming, so I keep looking at
the clock going, I haven't got to do any more tidying up.
Just give you a little bit of time to do that and just say thanks you so much, and also thank you so much for your contribution to this group, because it's really been brilliant. I really got a lot from what you shared so candidly every Friday on the visions, and so I really wish you all the very best with what you're doing this year.
And I want to thank you as well, because you've done, I mean, this group is a really a great group. I feel really comfortable with you lot. And since joining this, Julie, Julie Lim, she's one of my best customers. So thank you, Julie.
Brilliant.
So I've got work from it. So, that's helped as well. So this is a great place. I love this place. So thank you for setting it up.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And put your Mimic Art, I'll put your either send me the link in Messenger and I'll put it up, or I'll find it from your just on the Facebook. But send me a link, that'll be quicker.
Okay,
all right, all the best.
Thanks,
all right.
Anna.
I'll see you in 3 Bye.
See you later. Bye.